Good morning, everybody. I hope you're all doing fantastically well. It is Connor. We are back here with another version, another episode of the Rumour Mill. Listen, all of your Leeds United updates, we always do an extensive version. The Rumour Mill isn't just for touting off rumours, though. It's discussion, it's debate. Goodness me, it's discourse. What is going on in your world, everybody? Let me know in the comment section below. I'd just like to say a big thank you to all of you who've gone over and subscribed to the second channel as well. I'll put the link in the chat if any of you are interested. We're going to be doing bits on the Championship, the Premier League, and bits going forward. We're nearly at 700 subscribers, and real time, my first video has got 7,000 views. So thank you so much. Incredible support over there. And I just want to say a big thank you to all of you guys. It's very, very humbling. I expected to get about 70 views on the new channel. So shout out to all of you guys who've helped me regarding that. I know there's a lot of you over there, but a lot of new followers as well over there as well. So we're getting into the Championship and Premier League over there. So if you want a lot of that stuff, it will be over there now. So what's going on? Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, everybody. We're going to be getting into the latest rumours surrounding our great club, Harrogate, at the weekend, 5:45. But we're going to be looking beyond that. We're going to be looking at long-term Leeds United, not short-term Leeds United. We're going to be looking at Sheffield Wednesday and the future, Norwich City, and Leeds going forward when it comes to squad compilation. What's going on in your world? Let me know in the comment section below. Martin's in the building. Ken's in the building. How come he's got to 30 likes and he's not turned up yet? I'll tell you why, Gary, because I've got the best subscribers in the world, mate, and we build a community which is always there for each other. And shout out to all of you guys. I really, really appreciate that. Okay. Yeah, exactly, JBLs. He's answered him there. Morning, Connor. I'm getting sick of the Meslier stuff now. Morning, Connor. Hello, everybody. Morning, Connor. Morning, Connor. Love the new Raw Instant on the street videos at the moment. Josh, I tell you what, mate. I'll whack it in the description, mate. It's just my name. It's just my name. So you might be able to find it, but I'll whack it in the description as we go along, pal. 12 hours early, Connor. Yes, shout out to you, Kingy. You let me know. I had this at 12 p.m. Okay, so right, guys. We'll start off the video. In fact, we'll end the video. So stay with me till the end because I want to get your thoughts on exactly what I was speaking about yesterday. There's something that I'm extremely passionate about that I was speaking about yesterday when it comes to Leeds United and the 49ers, because I'm already getting vexed by some things that I'm seeing, which I just think is absolutely nonsensical. Stay with me. We'll get stuff in the poll. I want to get your thoughts towards the back end of the video. Right, starting off with the man who we all want to discuss, and it's not maybe the man that we all want to discuss this morning, but it's definitely the man who is always relevant when it comes to Leeds United. Okay, so Parkinson, formerly of Sunderland, now the Wrexham manager, has spoken after being asked about striking options. Now, Wrexham are the club right now that are just continuously linked with strikers. There's many that have been linked to Wrexham, and I understand right now that their top player is on about $8,000 a week, but there is a thing called percentage share when it comes to loans. If Leeds genuinely wanted to just get Patrick Bamford off the books to make space for another striker to come in and help Leeds towards promotion, if Leeds wanted to help Wrexham in their promotion bid for them to potentially get up to the Championship and then sign someone like Patrick Bamford on a permanent after being on loan there, after being on a successful loan there, that makes a lot of sense for Leeds United. So I think this makes a little bit more sense than people think. If Leeds had to cover a large portion of the wages of Patrick Bamford, they're still getting a little bit of his wage structure off the book. So Parkinson was asked about this. We're always looking to see if a player becomes available who we think can improve us. We've got the resources to try and get that player, which is really interesting. We've got the resources to try and get that player. You know what that means. But equally, we've got Jack Marriott, who did really well for us at the start of the season, coming back in a couple of weeks as well. So it's it's not surprising right now. Wrexham have been after a striker. For sort of the December period, they were talking about it. The Wrexham Inside bits down there on sort of the Welsh live content as well, suggesting that Wrexham are looking at a striker in January. Now, we know with Wrexham that they like that high-profile signing. Wrexham just isn't a club on the pitch. It's a club off the pitch as well. When you're looking at Patrick Bamford, his profile right now, former Premier League player, former England player, technically, you wonder if to Reynolds and McElhenney and their other shareholders, whether or not that would be an attractive signing. As we know, The wage structure isn't ideal because Patrick Bamford is one of the top 3 earners at Leeds United. But how I see it is a loan. If Leeds cover a large portion of the wages, if Wrexham were to come in and cover, I don't know, 10, 15, 20% of that, then you look at that long term, which is what we try to do on the channel. If Bamford is successful at Wrexham, which I think he would be in League One, he's a very useful striker as much as he's done at Leeds United, and we all know that. Other clubs do highly rate him, everybody. Other clubs 100% do highly rate him. So if Leeds were to cover a large portion of that, he moves to Wrexham on a short-term loan deal, and then potentially Leeds United could eventually offload them. I think it would be on the premise of Wrexham getting promoted to the Championship, a little bit more of a cash injection, and I think he'd go for a cut fee. But it feels like that one is something that would potentially get done and would be a smart option for Leeds United. Okay. Bamford is a shadow of the player he was. Thank you and good luck. Paddy, nice one. Cheers. We'll check it out. Yeah, Josh, I'll stick it in the chat, mate. I'll stick it in the chat. Morning, Connor from Dublin. I've said it a few times now, but Gab Bazzuno is available for loan. And remember, he was Ireland's number 1 and Kelleher couldn't get him before Gab was injured. Would you take him? Joe, I wouldn't, because last season I was complaining about Illan Meslier being on a minus 4.5 goals prevention tally. Gav Bazzuno was on a minus 11 goal prevention statistic. So, no, I wouldn't take him, mate, based on my own metrics, to be honest with you. Wayne says, Bamford at Wrexham would be a coup regardless of how anyone dresses it up. Has there been any link of Bamford to Wrexham? There's been sort of a continuous link of them needing that next level, really, when it comes to a striker and them looking at that next level as well. Bamford seems to tick all the boxes, really. Tick all the boxes. He wants a move. That was evident at the start of the season when murmurings were coming out. He's not playing right now. And, you know, going into a project, similarly, probably to a James McLean, whose career was petering out, went to Wrexham. You know what happened there. We'll have to wait and see on that one, but I wouldn't mind that one whatsoever. Morning, Connor. We know it's the pressure that gets to Bamford. Thus he did so well in the Premier League. No crowd to move to a League One club would suit him perfectly. I think that's it as well, everybody. It is very much of the fact that the League One, the drop down would help him. I think it would massively aid him. Bamford, I don't rate him at Leeds. Bamford, I don't rate consistently. Bamford is not a player that I want at Leeds United, but I genuinely feel for another club right now at the tender age of 31, he could do a decent job if he stays fit. He could do a decent job if he stays fit for me. But interested to hear your thoughts in the comment section below there, everybody. Okay. Right. This is probably somewhere where maybe I do need to put the old second channel in there, everybody. Right, this is massively interesting. Now, I've done a piece on this in particular, and I've just linked it in the chat there if anyone cares. But I've done a piece on this guy, a video on my second channel. This is quite staggering. Now, Sunderland have agreed a fee with Enzo Lafay. Excuse the pun. This is quite staggering on many levels. Now, I did a video on this, obviously, on the second channel, going over how this is going to impact Sunderland, how on earth they've managed to get it done. But a loan to buy, obviously, the obligation is going to be if Sunderland do get to the Premier League. But Enzo Lafay coming in, who started at Lorient with Regis Labrie, their manager right now, moved to Roma for 23 million euros. It absolutely maybe stinks of, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a higher profile signing that Leeds have ever made. Maybe Adrian back in the day, you know, we're all a bit like, surely not a Brazilian coming to Leeds in the state that we're in right now under Chileno, and Adrian came to Leeds and everyone was like, what? But Enzo Lafay is a genuine player, everybody. He could be a lightning rod. If he stays fit, I think it's going to be an absolute beautiful scenario for Sunderland, or it could be an absolute nightmare. Injury record isn't great, but Sunderland have managed to get him. He worked with Regis Labrie, obviously, in the development setup. And I can't believe they've got this one done. And this is very much your potentially best player in the division. Genuinely, that is a potential best player in the division. I'm talking even over Tanaka there. The level Enzo Lafay is at, and the fact that he's in the Championship is a bit weird. I can't believe that's happened. Shout out to Sunderland, who have definitely closed the gap now in terms of quality. But that midfield composition that they've got now with potentially Joe Bellingham, Chris Rigg, who's an up-and-comer, if they keep hold of Bellingham, I wouldn't say Enzo Lafie is a replacement to Bellingham. He's a different type of player. He's diminutive. He's a 24-year-old sort of deep line playmaker. He's different to Bellingham, so he's not a direct replacement there. But if they can keep a midfield composition for the foreseeable future of Chris Rigg, Joe Bellingham, and Enzo Lafie, there's a genuine conversation. They've got the best midfield in the league. Genuinely. Joe Bellingham's been one of the best players in the division this season. He's definitely stepped up, hence the interest from Premier League clubs. Chris Rigg is a youngster who was on the Archie Gray trajectory, and Enzo Lafie, if he stays fit, is a joke of a player. It's ridiculous. So, yeah, this will be a very, very interesting scenario if Sunderland can keep him fit. I've mentioned yesterday about them potentially closing the gap. Have they now closed the gap with Leeds, Burnley, and Sheffield United? I think this is a step in the right direction, but we're going to get on to right at the very end how I think Leeds' squad right now is looking in comparison to the other squads, and I want to get into it with you. I've never heard of Lafie. Yeah, fair enough, mate. That's fair enough. A classic case of a player to manager relationship. Farke couldn't do anything like that. He's a liability, says Hear You. I think probably, and Connor says, what position is he? He's a deep line playmaker, mate, but definitely could play in the number 8, 100%. He's a bit of a midfield Swiss Army knife, in my opinion. I can't believe they've got him. I genuinely can't believe they've got him, but shout out to Sunderland. He moved a year ago to Roma for 23 million euros. Unbelievable. It's not worked for him. Only 10 appearances, but wow, what a signing. Player to manager relationship, as Here You said, is very, very interesting. I think the big example of what I can think of with Farke, it's not very much a player where Farke had worked it beforehand, but the biggest thing I can think of is Daniel Farke is from Paderborn in Germany, and he brought Marco Stiepermann over from Paderborn to Norwich. They had a prior relationship. Marco Stiepermann in that central attacking midfield role was unbelievable for Norwich for probably about 2 seasons. So that's the only thing I can think of where there's a bit of a relationship there previously, of which he's then brought someone over and it's worked perfectly. But yeah, Regis Labrise is a profile. He is a profile. So Mikey says, I honestly believe we are being held back by Farke this season. Maybe another failure, potentially, mate, potentially. Job not going anywhere. It's on Sky Sports News transfers. Yeah, so that's the thing. If Sunderland keep hold of him, I think you'd lose Job in the window, and it would be a scenario. I think Sunderland are basically saying, "Look, we're going balls in right now for promotion," and I don't think that's going to be the end of Sunderland's business either. So yeah, keep an eye out for them, I guess. Okay, right. So Sam Byram has come out and spoke to Radio Leeds, I believe it is, and he's spoken about the controversial one at the minute in Illan Meslier. And he said this: all you can do is support your teammates. At the moment, it's such a high-pressure environment. Every player will make mistakes. As a goalkeeper, if anything you do leads to a goal, it's under a microscope. If you're a striker and you miss, or if you're a fullback and your man beats you, it doesn't lead to a goal and it doesn't come under as much scrutiny. Byram continued when asked about Meslier by Adam Pope. Quite right. And look, Sam's not going to come out and give any sort of revelation in terms of, yeah, he needs to improve. He's just never going to do that. That would be kiboshing the dressing room. It would be, the worst thing to do. We're speaking about it last night on the show, and I've spoken to it off air with Benjamin Bloom, actually. I do wonder with Meslier, and this is a bit of a thought I've got. If you're Joe Rodon, if you're Ethan Ampadu, if you're Dan James as the Welsh cohort, and you're in that Welsh cohort with Carl Darlow, there will be some conversation. We've all been in dressing rooms. There will be conversation within that dressing room of how the hell are you not getting in here? How the hell are you not getting in here? How are you not part of this setup, this starting 11? That will be happening right now. If you've been part of any locker room, any sport, that happens. There'll be conversation. That image the other week of them all just shouting at Illan Meslier, it was an awful image. It's not a nice image. You don't want to see that with Illan Meslier. You don't want to see that. He's a Leeds player at the end of the day. Do I rate him? No. Would I hate to see that with Patrick Bamford as well? Of course I would. I don't rate Patrick Bamford, but they're Leeds players and they're human beings. That it must be awful. It must be awful right now. So they're all going to back him, of course, but they are definitely having conversations in that changing room, in their little group chats. Ampadu and James and Rodon are very close as it is. Carl Darlow will be part of that as the Welsh contingency. They'll be speaking to each other, 100%, 100%. And, saying, why are you not in there? How is this going? Blah, blah, blah. And that's what I find quite interesting right now when it comes to the goalkeeper. But it's nothing new with Sam. If you're a striker and you miss, your fullback and your man beats you. He's wrong. He's wrong in a sense of how important it is, because the goalkeeper, as he's sort of illustrated at the end there when he said, if it doesn't come as much scrutiny, and he's right. He's right and he's wrong, really, in my opinion. Every player will make mistakes. As a goalkeeper, if anything you do leads to a goal, it's under a microscope. Yeah, but Sam, I know you're not going to say this, but it's more than one. It's more than two. It's more than three. It's a minus 40 goal prevention over the last 5 years. It's a staggering statistic. So yeah, and that's why, look, the players understand it. The players evidently get it. The players understand that if it's a goalkeeper, you're under even more scrutiny. So that's why it baffles me that they all still think that he's going to be a top keeper at Ellen Road, and it's not priority number one as of January the 1st. And if it's not priority number one, January the 1st, we're all bored of it right now, but we know what needs to happen in terms of against Harrogate and going forward. Okay, gifted one membership, Danny Cook. Top man, mate. Top man. Really, really, really appreciate that. That's absolutely fantastic. And yeah, I think we've had a couple of hand-ons when it comes to people being happy about that, which is great. Okay, Ledesma. Conan Ledesma. We're talking about figuring out that goalkeeper situation. River Plate goalkeeper Conan Ledesma could be on the move to England as manager Marcelo Gallardo has given the green light for his departure. Now, we spoke about this on the channel the other day, Conan Ledesma. The interesting thing about him right now is this is actually from around about 13 hours ago from Argentinian press. Leeds United reportedly leading the race to sign Ledesma. The Championship side are in the hunt for the Premier League and believe that the Argentinian goalkeeper could be the missing piece. The shotstopper will be a valuable asset to Leeds United's squad. Ledesma has found opportunities limited at River Plate due to the form of Franco Armani, with Armani firmly established as the club's first choice goalkeeper. Ledesma has been relegated to the bench. A move to Leeds United would allow him to play regular first team football. Agent talk, potentially. He's been relegated to the bench. Get his name out there. Link him to a club whose goalkeeper is high profile at the minute. Doesn't really feel like it's going to be a proper a goer, to be honest, guys. Conan Ledesma, the best name we will hear out there. Imagine if you had Conan in the net. Conan the Barbarian in the net. I'd love that. However, 31 years of age goalkeeper has been displaced in the Argentinian league. With the greatest of respect, I don't even think the Argentinian league would probably match that of the Championship. Look, there's a lot of talent down there, but yeah, the Championship is the best second league in the world, and you can get good products from over there. Of course you can, flipping at the amount of Argentinian talent we've seen come over. But yeah, normally they need a little bit of a stint in Europe to acclimatise before coming over. Over the channel to England. So listen, Ledesma, I'd have a chocolate teapot in goal right now over Illan Meslier with the greatest respect. But yeah, I can't see that one happening, to be honest. Ledesma is as mad as a box of frogs. What's the age? What's the age-old saying? If you can't do the job, we'll find someone that will do. Got to be Darlow and Cairns. You got to find someone else. Meslier was never going to be a good goalkeeper. Said it 4 frigging years ago. Anyone with a football IQ knew it. In my opinion, Meslier is a concentration problem. His mind isn't on the game. It clearly wanders. What's Kiko up to? How about a recall? Yeah, potentially. Interesting question. Did Kiko make as many mistakes as Illan Meslier has made? That's one for the chat. Okay. Something that I didn't want to happen. I still think Leeds could displace this, in my opinion. I still think this could change. But look, this is something I didn't want to read this morning. I thought they were going to recall him, thought Leeds would be able to do something. Are Leeds even in the ear of Brighton to say, look, bring him back. We will take him as the number one. I don't think they are. I think Leeds United rate the goalkeeper. I think they can improve him. They've been doing extra training sessions with him recently. They've not been dropping him. They've been doing extra training sessions, evidently, because they don't think he's up to the standard. And they've still not dropped him. I don't think Illan Meslier will ever get dropped. I think Illan Meslier is going to be here till he's 38. But yeah, I was upset when I saw this. Rushworth hasn't made a competitive appearance for the Tigers since he switched to East Yorkshire. This is obviously Carl Rushworth, everybody, who I was saying, let's go get. Brighton on loan at Hull. Pandor has been ahead of him because Rushworth has been injured, but he's getting back now. Ivan Pandor has been the number one so far this season. In the latest update regarding Rushworth's situation at the MKM Stadium, Hull Live report he is expected to stay put until the summer. He's back training with Ruben Sellers and is in line to make his debut this weekend in the FA Cup third round against Doncaster. Another one, which sort of gut punched me, which we saw yesterday as well. Rennes, goalkeeper Bryce Samba is joining Rennes from French league rivals Lens. The Brittany club said Wednesday. Rennes signed Samba, who is France's second choice goalkeeper behind Mike Maignan, signed until 2029. Financial terms of the deal were not disclosed. Now, why this is big as well, Rennes were in for Illan Meslier. There was chats at the beginning of the window from Get French Football News. There was L'Equipe out there as well speaking about it. And there was a lot of discussion about him being an option because Rennes wanted to invest in a goalkeeper and they had a decent amount of cash to do so. Bryce Samba, look, I mean, you cannot disagree with that. Bryce Samba's a much better goalkeeper. I absolutely loved Bryce Samba when he was at Nottingham Forest. I thought he was so underrated. So that and Carl Rushworth is a little bit of a body blow, to be honest with you. I mean, I did think maybe there'd be something with Rennes towards the back end of the window. That doesn't look like it's happening now with them obviously going and getting the goalkeeper. They looked like maybe they were going to at some point push the button with all that cash they've got. Doesn't look like that's happening now. Okay, so I wanted to move on a little bit as well. Now, this is something that's broken this morning, actually, about Manor Solomon. And it is actually to do with the chanting around Manor Solomon. As I take a sip of coffee. So there's been a lot of conversation about, and I'm not going to talk, I'm going to say what the chant is on this channel. Obviously, you guys are probably, as Leeds fans, well aware of what the chant is. Manor Solomon, a Leeds United player, has been, there's obviously this chant going round, which is kind of in support of him, but obviously it's highly controversial in the general football world as well, and it's been pricking a lot of ears on social media. I've seen a couple of news articles about it now, and the Athletic have actually spoken to Manor Solomon about this. During a sit-down interview with The Athletic, the 25-year-old was asked about the controversial chant and did not address it directly, instead sending a message to the Leeds United supporters. So he was asked about the chant, and he said, "I prefer not to comment about it. I just want to say I'm grateful for the support of the fans, for everyone, and it doesn't matter where they're from and what they believe and what they support. I'm just grateful for them, and I'm happy for them and to see them at Ellen Road. In the away games, when it's a 5-hour drive and you see them, they're all chanting and everything. It's really amazing. And I can say it's maybe one of the best fan bases I've ever experienced." According to the Daily Mail, the FA and the Football League are both thought to be aware of the chanting. The FA have punished clubs over offensive songs in the past, but at time of writing, no action has been taken. So it's probably worth keeping an eye on that, because they do keep an eye on this. We've seen sort of chants sung before, and obviously with it being quite serious when it comes to some of the connotations attached to it. We'll wait and see on that one. Okay, Leeds United have been continuously linked to Ben Sheaf. We spoke about it yesterday. Ben Sheaf, how this would work in the Premier League. Sheaf, I think, is very much of the Ryan Yateses. I like Ben Sheaf. I think he's a really good player in that midfield. I think we've spoken about him before, him and Eccles. I really like in Coventry's midfield. They produce some absolutely fantastic talents in terms of having them in the squad and developing them. Gyökeres, obviously Van Eyck, Ben Sheaf, Eccles. They've done a good job. I like Brad Collins, the goalkeeper, as well, or I liked him at least last season. And I think they've done extremely well in developing certain personnel. Obviously, Callum O'Hare being another one, Gus Hamer another one as well. So look, Coventry good at developing football players. So Ben Sheaf is another one, in my opinion, who should be getting a big move very, very soon. 18 months left on his deal, and Leeds have been quoted at £8 million. Now, Coventry apparently are a little bit pressured at this moment in time to get fees, for the club, to get fees for potential recruitment for them going forward as well, and alongside just balancing the books. Ben Sheaf is a player I think would be good for Leeds United in the Premier League as potentially a rotation option, but someone who I think could make that jump up. That is my personal opinion. Lampard was asked about other clubs' interest in him, and he said it's obviously the Sky Blues boss. Lampard spoke to the Coventry Telegraph about Sheaf's situation at the moment and speculation linking him with a move away. He said this: "No, only that I knew there are rumours. I've heard them as you have. So, I want to keep the players here." Now, obviously, we know with Lampard that this probably isn't going to happen in this window, but it might be something that Leeds United look maybe look at in the window going forward. Frank Lampard's side are said to be under pressure to balance the books, and therefore might have to consider a major sale in the next few weeks. Sheaf, in particular, is believed to have caught Leeds' eye recently, but might come in as they wish to tempt him to Ellen Road. So I'm going to get something in the chat as well, everybody, in terms of a poll. Would you take Ben Sheaf? I think there's about 60% of you who said that you would take Ben Sheaf yesterday. Simple. Sheaf, let me know. Sheaf, yes or no. This is why you need to be part of the YouTube clan as well. If you've not got a YouTube account, I don't think you can vote on the poll as well. So make sure you do so. And we'll get into a few of your comments now. We're going to get into a little bit of a topic as well towards the back end of the window, everybody. And I want to hear your thoughts on that as well. Morning, Conrad. Hi, MW. How you doing, mate? That Ledesma is as bad as Meslier. Andy says if the 49ers can't see the problems, we've got another season in the championship to look forward to. Thought the 49ers were meant to be ruthless. Mate, we're going to get onto this in a second. I'm going to accept Melee will be here forever. Marching on podcast says, Connor, there is a lack of competition at the club for goalkeepers. Darlow has never been put in by Farco when Mez messes up, so has no reason to train well. Same for Mez because he isn't under any threat. Okay, interesting. Surely the owners can see the mishaps with Melee. A few of you guys are talking about the chants as well. Zoe says, generally, people should educate themselves on the Palestine-Israel conflict before they give their regime-approved and programmed opinions. Both sides represent evil. Simple. Yeah, I mean, look, other sides have opinions, don't they? And that is what it is. Chris says only one commentary player should get close to our team, and it's Van Eyck. I think that's a really good shout, Chris. I think Van Eyck's a very, very good player. Okay, we're going to keep Meslier. Andy says, any update on Robbie Cook? Looks like we've signed him, mate. Looks like the terms have been agreed, and that's that. Looks like the terms have been agreed. So, yeah, Robbie Cook, because obviously he was on trial at Sunderland. Man United had interest. Obviously, the goalkeeper from Perth Glory, 17 years of age, and looks like we're getting close to it. So that's good news. That's good news. Okay, so what I wanted to speak about, everybody, is how you feel right now. And we've got about 58% who were saying no to Ben Sheaf, which yesterday it was 60% saying yes. Interesting. Okay, so what I want to speak about is the level going forward right now of Leeds United. So, are Leeds doing enough? Are Leeds doing enough? This is a big conversation right now, okay? Big conversation. Burnley have brought in Ashley Barnes and they've brought in Oli Sane as well for 2.5 million quid, the right back. Sunderland bringing in Enzo Lafie, which is probably, it will be the signing of the window, especially at championship level. It could even, look at that at Premier League level as well. Sheffield United look to have brought in Hamza Chowdhury and Ben Brereton Diaz as well. And it looks like Hull and Derby are going to maybe be tying up Louis Barry. And the reason behind that is because I think Barry knows that he's going to get minutes at these clubs, which is exactly what we saw with the likes of Fabio Carvalho last season. And that's what clubs are doing now. You're not just getting loaned to a top club and just sitting on the bench. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Alec, Jed Spence, etc. Connor Roberts. Right. So I want you guys to let me know. I did a bit of a video on it yesterday and it started to narc me off, to be honest with you. And it's this whole notion that the 49ers are now not doing their jobs, okay? They're not doing their jobs. They're not supporting the club. They're not good enough. If they don't get a goalkeeper in, a number 10 in, a number 9 in, it's not good enough. So for me, where this lies and where this frustrates the absolute life out of me is a month ago, or whenever it was, in that period a little bit ago when we were winning, getting 10 points out of 12, the squad was balanced. We had enough quality. All the teams in the division would beg for Leeds United's quality. All of them would beg for Leeds United's quality. 24-man squad, which is one of the actual least sort of depth provided squads in the division. There's teams with 28 players. I think Burnley have got 28. I think Sunderland are on a little bit higher as well. Sheffield United are on like 29 players, I think it is. Leeds on 24. Okay, so for me, that insinuates if we're top of the division, we've got 24 players, one of the lowest count in the division. To me, that says that the recruitment has been pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. You've got one of the lowest counts in the division, 24 players. We're top of the division. up against two first-year parachute payment teams. The balance is now perfect after selling Archie Gray, Jorginho Rutter, Glenn Kamara, and Crysencio Somerville. The balance is good in the squad. We've all said this. And suddenly, because the goalkeeper has changed a few people's minds, which we've been on this channel for the best part of 5 years, it's the 49ers' fault. Not the guy who keeps playing Illan Meslier week in, week out. The guy who is the captain of the ship has the ability to drop the goalkeeper for a second man in command who got Hull City's player of the year, they got player of the month in a 7-game consecutive run out of his 12 games. He didn't get below, 7.5 rating. He's kept 2 out of 3 clean sheets for a Welsh side who aren't renowned for keeping the ball. So I would suggest that Carl Darlow, even when he's been frozen out, would come in and make less mistakes. That's it. Not an elite goalkeeper at this level, but he'd make less mistakes than the guy between the sticks right now. However, the whole point here is the squad right now good enough? Is the squad right now the best squad in the division? Because this is the flip-flop approach. All of a sudden, because Illan Meslier is doing what Illan Meslier does, it's the 49ers' fault for not bringing in an elite goalkeeper. Even though the manager called Illan Meslier last season, and we know Daniel Farke doesn't change his mind a lot. He's very stubborn with his thoughts. Even though last year, Daniel Farke called the goalkeeper best keeper in the division. So it's not a specific focus on Illan Meslier, but let's be quite brutal and let's be quite honest, everybody. We've had Benjamin Bloom on here this week. We've had Jimmy from the Blades Ramble, 2 opposing fans who support different clubs who both said the same thing. Essentially, if Leeds United had a goalkeeper between the sticks who was efficient, we would be 6 points clear. 6, 7 potentially points clear. So then, if there is a person who is second in command, who was brought in by the 49ers and approved by Daniel Farke, presumably, to be within this Leeds United setup, within this Leeds United structure, to come in when Illan Meslier is injured, maybe when he's suspended, maybe when something else has happened. He comes in for Illan Meslier and he does a job. That was the recruitment team. They brought Carl Darlow in as a substitution for Illan Meslier when he wasn't playing well. None of us are saying he's an unbelievable goalkeeper. No one said that. Is he good enough for Leeds long term? Probably not at 34 years of age and what he's been doing. But even this season, on the international circuit, he's getting plaudits. So put him in the net, okay? So I'm just getting a little bit sick of this whole thing because it's all flipped right now. We've got a low-count squad with quality that the league should be envious of. They all should be envious of. And I think they are. You've got a back line which is still stacked. You've got 2 goalkeepers between the sticks. And you've got Alex Cairns, who was brought in as a third as well, who's probably not going to play. We all know that. Fullbacks, we've got depth. We've got Verba, we've got Firpo, we've got Sam Byram. You've got Isaac Schmidt, who's not used. Okay, so you've got depth in the fullback regions right there. Centre-back, you've got Verba who can play there. You've got Ampadu who can play there. You've got Gilavogui who can play there. You've got Strauk who can play there. You've got Rodon who can play there. Out wide, you've got Ramazani. You've got Nonto. You've got James. You've got Solomon. Up top, you've got Peru. You've got Matteo Joseph. In the central attacking midfield spot, you've got Brendan Aronson, you've got William Yonto, who's played central attacking midfield before, even for us against Sheffield Wednesday earlier on in the season. And you've got Manor Solomon, who has the attributes, who could 100% fit into that number 10 role. But no, still not good enough because they're not going out and getting a goalkeeper. For me, it's a load of absolute rubbish. It's a load of absolute rubbish. And I want to get your thoughts, everybody. I'm really interested to hear what you have to say on this. Jamie, I am calm. I'm just passionate with my delivery. I'm very assertive with my delivery. I always have been. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm talking about here. I just think that the 49ers have set Daniel Farke up with the most balanced squad in the division. And I think every other championship team would tell you the same. Hence why they're all saying Leeds will go up. So I'm looking at it right now, and a goalkeeper who chucks the ball in 50% of the season isn't being replaced. How is that the 49ers' fault? Then you come down and look at that Carl Darlow, and you're then saying that because of a performance in the EFL Cup and Leeds losing to Middlesbrough 3-0, where all of them were absolutely crap, that means he's not good enough to come in for Illan Meslier. Well, then we've got to look at ourselves and say, well, what's the standard? What's the standard? I don't need Carl Darlow to be world class. I don't need Carl Darlow to be on the level of Michael Cooper, James Trafford, Pears. I need Carl Darlow to just not make mistakes. And can Carl Darlow pass the ball out to his centre backs? Because with the greatest respect, Illan Meslier's distribution is still right now in the negative aspect. It's still not good enough when it comes to mid to long term distribution. So what would we be getting wrong by starting Carl Darlow? And what you're going to get now is, as well, if Darlow does make any mistake in the future, it's going to be, we all knew he wasn't good enough. But with the greatest of respect, Illan Meslier has made more than one mistake over the past 5 years. With a reminder, he's at a minus 40 goal prevention over the past 5 years. Never got below a 60% average in that 60 range in the championship in the last 2 years. So I'm really interested to hear what you guys think. And it's not me just pioneering it and saying, the 49ers this, the 49ers that, 49ers this, 49ers that. But it's me saying at some stage, we cannot just not put accountability on the manager. The manager has us top of the division. The manager is doing an okay job right now, but the manager has the ability to take a player between the sticks who, if he wasn't between the sticks, we would be 6-7 points clear right now, and none of us will be having this conversation. So I think the squad is sufficient. I think the squad is good enough to win this division. And I think there is a balance in there. And I'm not looking forward and just going, it's their fault. I'll be honest, all these clubs doing these business right now, this business right now, it doesn't bother me. I said in December, this is going to happen. But the 49ers have been proactive in the fact that they've actually sorted our squad out for the season. And I know with Sheffield United, I know with Sunderland, injuries happen. We're quite lucky that the injuries have happened to us and we've been fine. We had a starting 2 central midfielders out of the squad, and we've managed to replace them with quality because of good recruitment. Because of very good recruitment. There's been good recruitment across the board. So it's not their fault. The guy at the helm, the captain of the ship, is not taking Illan Meslier out. That isn't the 49ers' fault. It's not. So interested in what you guys think on this. Do Leeds need, I know a lot of you are saying a number 10, a number 9, a goalkeeper. I understand that. And look, goalkeeper, I'm turning around and saying, hell yeah, let's get a goalkeeper in. But at the same time, I'm literally just looking for a goalkeeper to come in and not make mistakes. That's it for the remainder of the season. And my club gets promoted, 100%. That's how I feel right now. Because I think you look at this season and there's a genuine argument that he's been at fault for 6-7 points. So, yeah. Let's have a quick look at what you guys are saying in the chat. Let's set up a poll, shall we? Let's set up the poll. It's a bit of an interesting chat this morning. Start a poll. What should the poll be? I'm starting these every morning. So do Leeds. I'm going to put the word have need to act this window. Okay. Yes. No. Okay. And I know there's context, but do you think we're sufficient enough with the squad that we've got now and Carl Darlow coming in for Illan Meslier? Or do you think we have to get a 10, we have to get a 9, we have to get another goalkeeper? And I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say on this one. So let me know in the comment section below. Loads of your comments flying in, everybody, which is great, which is really, really great. Football used to be enjoyable. Bielsa and Fark have one thing in common: stubbornness. Shout out to Thomas King. Connor, in January last year, we had an opportunity to do some business that gave us the final push. Ipswich did that business and got them up. Right now, Meslier needs replacing and the 49ers need to make it happen. 80% of you so far saying we need, I tell you what, so what I'll do, 80% of you are saying that we do need it. So I'm going to close that because I think a lot of you guys are on the same thing. So what I will say, I'm going to add a couple of options here. So where? Okay. Where? So we'll go number 9, we'll go number 10, and we'll go goalkeeper. Because I think there's going to be one resounding answer here. So let me know in the chat. We had a final opportunity to go up. Ipswich did that business and it got them up. Right now, Meslier needs replacing. Let's have a quick look. Left back and centre back will be an issue. Verba and maybe Firpo could go this month. What happens if Rodon got injured? Pascal is already injured. Well, so it's all right now. So how many then? So left back, centre back. Do we need a 10? Do we need a 9? And we need a goalkeeper. So is that 5? Is that 5? Paul says, can't fault the 49ers. Money is and was there to spend. Farker makes the selections. The team is strong enough to go up to confirm it. We need that extra quality in the right places. We should be dog walking this league, but the team takes after the manager. We're inconsistent. Farker needs to be better and Melee needs to be dropped and moved out. And this is what I'm saying. It's like, okay, so we go out and get, let's say, because I think I get the common thing. I mean, there's 79% of you currently who are saying a GK, and I know there's a fair few of you who will say more in there. There's 16% of you saying a 10, 9% of you saying a 9. I know some of you will want an accumulation of that as well. But yeah, I've not got time to do it in the chat. But yeah, I think there's an accumulation there. And I think it's a bit of panic. I think right now there's a bit of panic. I think right now, I think short term, Darlow comes in, saves us from mistakes. He's not an idiot between the sticks and doesn't have almost that bozo gene, which we know Illan Meslier has with the greatest of respect. And I think we're okay. I think we're okay till the end of the season. You don't need to make unbelievable saves. I don't think that happens. So from what I'm gathering, a lot of the people who want a GK don't think Darlow's good enough. And they have to go out and get a goalkeeper. And also, everybody, that's on the manager's instructions. Because if he's saying Illan Meslier last season is the best goalkeeper in the division, now he looks a bit silly right now if he says that, but you do wonder about the belief system there. I know for a fact, okay, choose to believe this or not, they do rate him at Ellen Road. Hence why after his crap season last season, he had an extremely poor season last season. They didn't go out and get you like the likes of Victor Johansson from Rotherham for £1 million. They didn't go and do that. They didn't go out and get you Michael Coopers for £2 million from Plymouth. They stuck with Illan Meslier. So if he thinks he's the best keeper in the division or thinks he's one of the best keepers in the division, just needs a little bit of manipulation, there's a whole different problem there. And this is what I'm trying to say. It's so easy. It's so easy to just go out and say the 49ers are this, the 49ers are that. They've brought in the likes of Tanaka and Rothwell as a midfield pairing for £3.4 million. Joe Rothwell's been unbelievable. You know, they brought back Joe Rodon. Okay. They've brought in Jaden Bogle for £5 million. They brought in Ramzani for £7 million. They brought in Manor Solomon on loan, which is really working right now. You know, I just think at some stage it's like, how many more players does he need? And I'm with Daniel Farker. I'm backing Daniel Farker right now. But how many players do we think that he needs to get this team up? Do we need 27, 28 players of the quality that we've got to get out of this division? I don't think we do. I think it's a waste. I think right now Leeds have got a good enough team to get out of this division. We're top of the division right now. And we've got that guy between the sticks who's been throwing them in. So that's how I feel at the minute. But there's 76% of you who are talking about getting a new goalkeeper. So I kind of thought that this is where it was lying, to be honest with you. So yeah, fair enough, everyone. Fair enough. Getting to a few more of your comments. Let's have a quick look. Shout out to Danny Cook who did the membership as well. No one told Farker to say that. It's just ridiculous when we bring it up. Melee is a weak link. If the 49ers are serious about promotion, overall the manager and replace him. There is that. I don't think that would work, if I'm honest with you. Let's hope people don't ask for Melee back when Darlow concedes a goal. Ryan, we know it's going to go, mate. We know it's going to go. And there'll be people literally waiting there like that. Because that means then it's all the 49ers' fault. Connor, we have a good enough squad, but you have to admit it can be improved. JBL, every squad can be improved. But how? We're top of the division right now. If a new player comes in, does he get in straight away? You know, I know we've been talking about Brendan Aronson, of course, and we need a rest. I'm seeing some of the same faces who want a number 10 in, who absolutely love Brendan Aronson as well. Brendan Aronson, who's got 7 goals and 3 assists. Listen, I'm not the biggest fan of Brendan Aronson. In an ideal world, would he get help in there? Of course he would. But does Daniel Farker have enough in-house right now to rotate in the number 10? 100%. There's a compilation going round on Twitter, okay, right now, of Ramazani essentially playing in the number 10 against Sheffield United. He's destroying Sheffield United in the number 10. But he's not playing for us right now. The last 2 games, he's not featured at all. He's got 1 start in his last 11 post-injury. That potentially could win us the game against Blackburn Rovers. We know in that 6 games, he was one of the most exciting players in the division, and we're not utilising him. He's not being played. Substitutions are being made at weird times. We're seeing Gila Voggi and Joseph coming on after Hull City have scored a 3rd goal. I just think there has to be a little bit more accountability there on the manager when we've got as good a squad as we've got right now. I know the team can be improved. If there's Premier League ventures, the team has to be improved. Of course it does right now. And I understand, and I'd be more than happy with Leeds going and getting a GK. Of course I would. I've mentioned it so many times. But does he have enough options in-house right now to get Leeds United promoted? He does. He does. And it's not an excuse for me. It's not an excuse because they'll get 2 more signings in and it still won't be enough. At some stage, it's got to be enough. And the balance of this squad is better than Sheffield United's. I'd argue it's better than Burnley's. It's definitely better than Sunderland's. The balance of quality for me. Morgan says, it's crazy to think before his injury against Watford, he was probably our best attacking player. To come back now and not even get a look in is strange. I voted a number 10 because I really feel we will not get another goalkeeper in January. And number 10 is the next position that needs attention. Yeah, and I'd agree. I'd agree overall. I think it's just the likelihood of us doing that. Yeah, I think it's just and guys as well, you know, the 49ers can go out and do something, of course they can, but the number 9, the number 10 position are obviously going to be more difficult to get. They're obviously going to be very difficult to get. But let's look at the bare bones of it as well. We've got the most lucrative squad in the division as well. The money that we spent on the squad as well. And it's great. It's fantastic where we're at right now. But we spent a lot of money on this team. It's not like we've just freebid it like we've seen before with Leeds United. We've spent a lot of money on this team. And there's a hell of a lot of players in this team who are on big wages. Big wages, right? So I don't think they're going to go out and get a 9. I don't think they're going to go out and get a number 10. If they went out and got a goalkeeper, I'd be elated with that. Of course I would. But I'm not letting that foot off the manager's neck when it comes to the fact that he's got rotation options within the squad. I think he has. And as I said, the standard isn't for Carl Darlow to be an unbelievable goalkeeper. It's not. It's for Carl Darlow to not make mistakes. And Leeds United are absolutely flying. Owen says, I agree with you, Connor. We have a very good squad. I feel Farker is slow to see where changes need to be made. I think a lot of teams have discovered how to figure out. Yeah, we would be out the gap, but our manager is the problem. He puts the same team out every week and leaves Willie, Ramazani, Joseph on the bench. I'm sorry, but what has Ramazani done to deserve a start on minutes? Lee's played what? He's had one start. This is another thing. This is another thing. One start in 11, mate. When Solomon came back from his injury, he was getting minutes straight away. Ramazani's had one start. He started against Derby County, looked rusty. Was he abysmal? No. And then he's taken out completely. Lee, one start in 11, mate. What are we supposed to do? It's sometimes the frustration I get with Joseph when he gets 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes. It's a frustration I sometimes get. It's what was crap. What's he done? What can you do in those minutes? How about we focus on what Peru does for the longest minutes, you know? Or what Aronson's done for the longest minutes. I know I'm praising him, but he looks tired at the minute. Or James recently looks tired. What about these players? Mate, Ramazani, in the 6 games that he played, I was getting texts from Norwich fans, texts from Sheffield United fans. I've had to refresh on my Twitter timeline so people remember what this guy was doing with this Leeds United. He was the best player in the division at that time. He was the best player in the division. Gets injured versus Watford. And then he's had one start versus one start in 11. What can he do? He was brought in as a Somerville replacement. And for me, he's got a higher ceiling than Somerville. I think he's got a higher ceiling than him. So, yeah, that's the understanding, mate. I get football subjective, but that's what I just don't understand. You know, he's barely played. He's barely had minutes. Okay. Well, I think since his injury, Lee, there's a stat that was going around. I think it's all things LUFC. I think there's a stat going around that he's had 85 minutes. Or it might be 80 minutes, 85 minutes in 11. Jim Jam says all this Farker hate and we're sitting top of the table. It's not Farker hate. It's not Farker hate. I mean, there might be in the chat, to be fair. There might be in the chat, but I'm definitely not saying there's Farker hate. But he needs improvements and just this thing of we're sitting top of the table. we don't need improvements. But you are right in a sense, mate. We are top of the table, of course, but we know the guy between the sticks when it's averages is the thing that's going to harm Leeds. Nothing else will harm Leeds, guys. Nothing else will harm Leeds. Because let's look through the squad. Let's be positive, right? Looking through the squad, Brendan Aronson, even though some of us aren't convinced, he's got 7 goals and 3 assists. Dan James overall has had a really good season. Ramazani is probably the best player ability-wise in the division. Tanaka, him and probably Enzo Lafie now, if Enzo Lafie gets to that level, and maybe Vinny Souza are the best midfielders in the division. Ethan Ampadu is a captain. He's an absolutely excellent acquisition. Joe Rothwell has come in and been excellent. Bearing in mind, don't forget, before Rothwell came in, he was shite. Never forget that, guys. Never forget that. He was shite. That's what I was seeing on the comments. I've seen it on social media. Wasn't good enough. And I was trying to pioneer for him to get him in, and let's see, because he's a good technical footballer who offers a balance, who offers a good dynamic in that midfield, but he wasn't good enough because of his minutes when he was coming on. He wasn't affecting the games. Then he starts getting minutes, and you start seeing Joe Rothwell. Okay. Kara says, Happy New Year, Connor. Maybe get Dave Seaman in as goalkeeper coach. Shout out to you, Kara. Shout out to you, mate. Darren says, all we need is that for Darlow to be able to do the basics. That's all. We don't concede many shots on target. Darlow is fine and can do the jobs. Mate, we've conceded 6. Is it 16 goals? Might be a little bit higher now. Let's have a quick look at the championship table. I know Burnley have conceded 9, which is unbelievable, by the way. Let's have a quick look. Goal against 19, yeah, because of the whole game, which isn't good. Now Sheffield United have conceded less goals than us, which is a bit annoying. But 19 goals. So Burnley have conceded 10 less than us. But you look at those, the 3 against Hull, which was a little bit of a freak game. But you look at that overall, and it's excellent. The defensive record is excellent. You've played 26 games and you've conceded 19 goals. Okay, but you look at those 19 goals, I'd argue 3 at the weekend are Melior's fault. I'd argue the Preston goal was his fault. The Norwich goal was his fault. The Portsmouth first goal was his fault. The Sunderland goal was his fault. There's an argument at Swansea. There's 1 or 2 of them that are his fault. Look, guys, just a keeper who doesn't make mistakes, is positionally aware, and as a high level of football IQ, I think it'd be absolutely fine. Just join. What did I miss? Quite a lot, Rook. Quite a lot. Solomon was awful when he came back from his back hamstring injury, but Farke persisted. Ramazani hasn't had the same treatment. Could be due to training performance of Farke's player preference. Yeah, definitely, mate. Schmidt, Rams, and Darlow. 90 minutes has to be done against others. Is it possible that we're under obligation from Spurs to pay Solomon when fit for a number of games? There's potential with that, mate, but I guess we knew that. Didn't we, when signing him? Napoli support, being a Napoli and Leeds supporter, why don't Leeds go for Lewis Hasser on loan? Very promising player who I think would help on loan. It's not a bad shout, mate, to be fair. Hasser, God, I've not heard that name in a while. James says, frustration with the keeper is because we know this squad is good enough and it's the regular silly mistakes costing us. Tweak the selection, no need for a major change. Exactly. I don't think it's positive, guys. The recruitment's been really good. We're at a really good point now. We're top of the table. Look, some of us have problems with the manager, but the manager is good enough to get us up out of this division. As I said, we're top of the division. We are literally top of all the stats, of all the attacking stats, possession stats. Leeds United are at the top of every single metric. And there's one metric that we're not top at. There's one metric. We've got an excellent defense, we've got an excellent midfield, and we've got an excellent attack. Would any of you disagree? Would any of you disagree with that? Because I think we're excellent across the board at championship level. Right, guys. Listen, we're going to be back this evening. I've been going on for a while. It's nearly 12 o'clock. Bloody hell, how the days fly. Please do me a favor. Like this video. Really appreciate it, everybody. Listen, I do have a brand new channel, which I'll pop in the description below. I know a lot of you guys have been asking me about it, so I'll do that now. Listen, we're going to be back tonight with Brownie. We're going to be back tonight with Brownie, everybody. We're going to be speaking through it. Listen, Brownie was saying that he thinks Illan Meslier's improved this season, so we're going to get into that tonight, obviously, from around about 6 o'clock. So I will see you this evening. Thank you so much. Get your thoughts in the section below, as always, if you agree or disagree, and I will see you on the other side. And we'll be back with another discussion point tomorrow. Cheers.